11/11/2021. We just celebrated the 27th anniversary celebration of the Philippine Chinese American Medical Association. It was a lot of fun. If you missed it, we wish you were here. Anniversary celebration of the Philippine Chinese American Medical Association. My name is Dr. Arlene Tiang, and I will be your MC this afternoon. On behalf of the PCAMA board, we thank you for celebrating with us in person, especially after last year's virtual gathering. We've missed you all. We are pleased to welcome those of you who have been with us for years now, and as well as those who are here for the first time. Is anyone here for the first time? Welcome, welcome. We're happy you're here. So our president of the organization is Dr. Rodney Ko. He could not be here in person today, and so I will read on his behalf his presidential address. So Dr. Rodney Ko says, "Hello everyone. I hope you and your families have been healthy and safe. It has been an eventful and at the same time not so eventful a year. Our lives have continued to be significantly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And just as the virus continues to mutate, we must also continue to evolve so we may one day return to quote-unquote normal life. The Philippine Chinese American Medical Association represents healthcare professionals with a unique common background and heritage. Our mission is to maintain this community of healthcare professionals. It's a celebration of the legacy of the Philippine Chinese American physicians who paved the way for opportunity for future generations in the United States. We celebrate their legacy as well as our promising future in our graduating youth and young professionals. We are thankful to be a part of the Federation of Chinese American and Chinese Canadian Medical Societies and welcome the continued support of our sibling societies." So you have programs on your table, and I wanted to remember Dr. Erlinda Hu. who unfortunately passed away this year. But if you've been with us year after year, remember she was such a vital part, a supporter of our organization. So we suffered quite a loss this year. So Dr. Linda Koo was born in 1943, and she actually passed away June 24 this year. She graduated from the University of Santo Tomas, Manila, with an MD in 1967. She completed her residency in pediatrics, a fellowship in neonatology in New York, and then accepted a position in California at the Garfield Medical Center in Monterey Park. She cared for and had a positive impact on generations of patients as a pediatrician over her 40-year career. She was extremely generous and giving, donating to many organizations, including the Philippine Chinese American Medical Association, and especially to her Liu Xiuhan Scholarship Fund, which was created in memory of her mom. And so this scholarship funded a lot of the students here. So she was a wonderful person, and we all miss Dr. Linda Koo. May she rest in peace. And so not all of our officers could be here in person today, but as I mentioned, Dr. Rodney Ko is our president. He is a retina surgeon. Our vice president is Dr. Engkok Tan. He's a psychiatrist. Dr. Patricia Tan is a physiatrist, and she is our treasurer. My name is Arlene, and I'm a rheumatologist. I'm secretary. Dr. Gregory Tan is a radiologist. He was a past president, and he could not be here in person today, but he's been an active board member. Dr. Alfonso Chan is a cardiologist, and he was a past president, he's been an active board member. Dr. Brian O-Young is a physiatrist. He was a past president, and he's an active board member. Dr. Alexis Tay is not here yet, but he is a urologist, and he's been an active board member. So this is the best we could do, but I would like to request a photo of the officers, so Dr. Alfonso Chan and Dr. Brian, or should we wait for Dr. Alexis Tay? Well, we can take another photo with Dr. Alexis Tay. I don't know when he's going to He's parking his car. Okay, so we'll let him park his car. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to recognize some of our special guests. In the corner we have CAIPA, the Coalition of Asian American IPA, and I wanted to ask Dr. Brian O-Young to recognize our other VIP guests. So Dr. Brian O-Young, say a few words.
She is one of the founding mothers of the FCM, Federation of Chinese Medical Society, and also the executive director for many, many years for CAMS. And she's the heart and soul of Visit CAMS and FCMS. And I would like to introduce Dr. David Chu to basically introduce her. I would like to say something about Dr. David Chu. Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center and New York University Medical Center in New York City, respectively. He's the current Chief of Hand Surgery and Director of Nurse Center in the Institute of Reconstructive Plastic Surgery of New York University Medical Center. That by Chinese race, that we are American by citizenship. We're Chinese by race and American by citizenship. While we should live up to, these are the very words of Dr. Xie Huawang. While we should live up to our responsibility, we must assert our rights as Americans. Chinese American physicians working cohesively together to make significant contributions to American medicine and will stand as a magnificent column in the House of American Medicine. To democratize the governance, he created council inclusive of not only members of the board of directors, but also members of all committees. So to make the president more effective, he lengthened the term of the presidency from 1 to 2 years. To ensure continuity, he created a position of executive director. He even managed to convince me, Dr. Xie Huawang, to accept the appointment, which I've been stuck with for the next 25 years. His vision, his dedication, his energy, his demands for nothing but the best fundamentally change the course and outlook of society. And one poignant moment was the night when he hosted the third Health Conference of FCMS on Problems Related to Chinese in America at the fabled Window on the World. 200 strong of guests and members of CAMS entered the top floor of the World Trade Center in amazement, left with hope and pride. So for his outstanding contributions, he was elected President Emeritus of CAMS and an ex officio member of the Board of Directors, a role he continued to play exemplary. Moreover, he was also the primary father establishment of the Federation of Chinese American and Chinese Canadian Medical Societies, FCMS, in 1994, and later the FCMS Foundation dedicates support and mission to FCMS. He currently leads the FCMS Foundation as its founding president. PCAMA is one of the members of the FCMS. So without further ado, we'd like to let Dr. David Chiu share some of his thoughts and comments and memories of Dr.菲華Wang. There was a lot of energy and force that she did during her lifetime will propel into our next generation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends. I came here with a heavy heart, as you all know that we lost a very good friend just very recently, Dr. Orlando Fu. I still remember the pride and joy she had when she showed me around all the accomplishments she made in Monterey, including a magnificent office building that she actually built with her own hand. And she said, I did all this beginning as a little girl came from Philippines with only a dream and a vision. And she did it all smoothly. And I was so proud of her. I view Dr. Wang to begin with as my professor. My professor in dermatology at the College of Physician and Surgeon. Some actually could be funny. But I just want to spend the time that I would have to just think of something that's important not only in her life and her impact on my life, but her impact on all of us. Dr. Wang, as Irene said, she was born in Beijing from educated family. Her father, Wang Shijie, some of you may not know, was a very prominent educator, and he was the founder of the Wuhan University. Wuhan University, you're right. That's where the Viral Institute located. He come on a newspaper every day for whole 18 months. But that was his legacy. Dr. Wang always wanted to have a career as a physician, and she joined the National Central Medical University during the war. When they started, they were in Chengdu, but they were all over the place. As you know, the university moved as our, battle raged on with the Japanese. Finally, she graduated. In school, she met a young man, very handsome and smart, and then the Station 9. She was about 3 years ahead of her. They became friends. After the war, as you all know, President Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, in Teaneck, New Jersey, into the headquarters. He go to her house. You see document files everywhere on the house. Even her dining table. That's the degree of sacrifice she made for the organization, and the love she expressed in action, and the dedication she demonstrated. That's why we have to remember Dr. Wang, not only because she's such a wonderful person like our mother is ordinary said, and the climate just needs it. But there's so much more to learn from to make us all a better person. And I want the young people here to remember that. And also, don't ever forget about the importance of your own community, your root community. And I dedicated 40 years of my life since I said yes to Dr. Wong, but I do not regret a second. The work is hard. Sometimes it's frustration, as I mentioned to Warren when he took over Dr. Wang's job as executive director of CAMS. Sometimes a lot of heartache too, but you have to keep going because that's what makes Chinese worthwhile to be a good citizen of this universe. That is our moral ethics, that's something that binds us, and we should share it with them. And if we keep holding to that and emulate our wonderful models like Dr. Wang, I think we all have a bright future. And I would expect to see this organization grow the same way as we do in CAMS, along with the FCMS and SCMA Foundation. And I congratulate you on your 17th celebration of your wonderful history. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Dr. Warren Chin. He's the current Executive Director of CAMS and FCMS. He will be carrying the baton and will be basically the new generation, new society, and he'll be heading this up. It's a very formidable yet very meaningful task. Dr. Warren Chin. And Betty, wife, and Mrs.
Chu.
Dr. Lillian Chu. Yeah. Dr. Lillian Chu. No leads. There's our roots. We gotta develop those leads. Okay? Roll those leads. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Oh-Young, for introducing our special guest, Dr. Chu. I'm so honored to hear all of that from you. That was such a wealth of information. Notice he did not have a script. That was all from his, from his wisdom. So I'm so grateful that I witnessed that. We're so honored to have you today. You're the founder of the Federation of the Chinese Medical Societies. So it's an honor that you're here with your wife, Dr. Lillian Chu, to join us. As Brian had said, Dr. Warren Chin is the past president of the Chinese American Medical Society. He's here with his wife, Betty Lau. And so now that our other board member is here, so I'd like to request a group photo of the board members for PCAMA. So Dr. Alexis Tay is now here. He's a urologist. And Dr. Alfonso Chan, cardiologist. And Dr. Brian Oh-Young, podiatrist. And I'm a rheumatologist, so I know it's only half the board, but COVID times, we're all healthy. Slow play.
Please welcome Kaipa. Kaipa, the table from Kaipa, this is Peggy Shang, the executive director. I remember her from many years back and worked together on many different projects. And welcome. Thank you, Kaipa, for supporting us.
Yeah, so like Dr. Chu said, this is about community. We are the Philippine Chinese American Medical Association, but we have representatives from CAIPA, from CAMS, from FCMS here, so we're so grateful to be together.
Almost hey, and with your friends and family together for the first time. And I would like to introduce ourselves, introduce some of my good friends and our wonderful DJ Cell Bass. And we have before the party, Dr. Alphonse especially, and Jen requested a few songs. We're going to do them tonight. And also going to do a lot of Christmas songs. We're going to do some dancing. So you better be up there and dance. It's the happy seasons of fall, with those holiday sleeves and gay when friends come to call. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows and toasting, and carolings out in the snow. And we tell stories and tell the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoe when you pass the wall, when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time.
The achievements of the graduates. So the first graduate is Anya Chan, and she is the daughter of Drs. Edward Chan and Shobana Sood. And Anya is the granddaughter of Dr. Alfonso and Jenny Chan. So Anya graduated from high school. She was captain of her high school's ultimate frisbee team. She's a freshman at Tufts, and she's in the orchestra at Tufts. The next graduate is Erica Fushi, and she is the daughter of Drs. Vivian and Mark Fushi, who, as you know, used to come here year after year, and Erica used to help with the raffle. So Erica is also another granddaughter of Dr. Alfonso and Jenny Chan. Proud grandparents. She graduated from high school. She is a fencer. She starred in the Nutcracker. She was class president. She played piano at Carnegie Hall. It's no surprise she's a freshman at Yale, and she plans on pre-health science major. Next graduate is Irene Ko, Dr. Irene Ko, who just passed her board. She's a board-certified pediatrician, finishing her pediatrics residency at Yale, and she's busy because she is a GI fellow at Yale also. Christine Siu is the daughter of John and Zassoon Siu, the granddaughter of Drs. Jose and Anita Siu, who are past presidents of our organization. Christine graduated University of Virginia, bachelor's in sociology and Spanish. She's pre-med. She was on her Christian Fellowship board. She did research with COVID, with breast cancer. She's working as a scribe now as she applies for medical school. Gregory Tan is the grandson of Dr. Gregory Tan, who was our 5th PCAMA president, and he is the son of Alan and Jeanette Tan. Gregory graduated from SUNY with a bachelor's in criminal justice. He also played Division III baseball for a couple of years. He aspires to be a police officer. Next graduate is the daughter of Alexis and Susan Tay, Kimberly Tay. So Dr. Alexis Tay is here. Dr. Alexis Tay. So his daughter is Kimberly. Kimberly graduated from Stanford majored in math and comp sci with honors. She minored in digital humanities. She studied abroad in Italy, worked with Emilio Pucci. She worked her summers at Facebook, Microsoft, Intel. She did her master's in comp sci, concentrating in artificial intelligence and human-computer interaction. She's now a consultant at McKinsey in San Francisco. The last two graduates are the niece and nephew of Dr. Patricia Tan, who is our treasurer, who can't be here today. But Jana is the daughter of Drs. Irwin Ting and Gina Balayan. She graduated from Trevor Day. She's a sophomore at Barnard now. She's planning to major in psychology. Nathaniel, her brother, graduated from Dalton this year. He was president of the History Club, 4-time gold medalist Latin National Exam, Quiz Bowl champion. He taught CCD at Holy Family Catholic Church. He is a freshman at Georgetown. He's going to be pre-med, so hopefully these are the young ones who will keep this organization going. So we have one more graduate who is actually, he didn't graduate this year, last year, or even in a century. He is the recipient of our Lifetime Achievement Award. And I am referring to someone who could not be here today, but his name is Dr. Gregory Tan. And he graduated Far Eastern University in Manila, class of 58. He did an intern year at St. Anthony. He did a residency in radiology. And some of us were here this year because we celebrated his 90th birthday here this year. And so without further ado, I want to present this year's Lifetime Achievement Award to Dr. Gregory Tan, and Dr. Alexis Tay will actually accept the award on his behalf.
Thank you very much. Dr. Tan wished he could be here, but obviously with all the concern about COVID and Omicron, he made the right decision for himself and his family. We know that it's been an issue for us the last 2 years. Brian, I, and a bunch of us have been at the front lines of taking care of a lot of different people, and all of us doctors have been confronted with those issues. So we kind of understand it's all a personal decision. But that being said, you know, PCAMA has had a long history in my family at least. And one thing that I want to acknowledge is that Dr. Tan was part of a core group of us from a core group of Chinese Filipino physicians from Philippines who came over here, real Asian majority in the hospital systems. The core group always came together every other weekend, and sooner or later it became the Philippine Chinese American Association and the Philippine Chinese Medical Association. So he was one of the beginning core group guys that helped start PCAMA, but I'd also like to acknowledge Dr. Mrs. Mickey Yu's wife is here. Dr. Mickey Yu was one of the founders of PCAMA, and just want to acknowledge that. He was actually with Dr. Edwina Ko. Two of them really helped start PCAMA. Brian knows this because our parents, his parents, we were all the children of that original group. And so now we're going to the next generation beyond me and Brian, actually. So it's nice to see this connection and social network going on.
Thank you so much for traveling here, for spending your Saturday afternoon with us this December. It has been an honor to be among such accomplished individuals. And I'm referring to your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. Also, you know, I was also like my mom, who's not here today, but she also was kind of the one who got my family into this organization as well. So yes, we hope to pass this on. So your accomplished children who are pre-med, who will become future Philippine Chinese American physicians, we want to pass the torch to them.
Couldn't stand anymore. They had to take me to the hospital. My sister got me from New Jersey to Manhattan. And then I stayed in after the hospital for 14 days, 18 days. And then I went to a rehab for 3 weeks and another rehab for 3 weeks. And I couldn't even stand then. I am so happy to be here again, to be with you folks. I know we have a lot of people that we lost, especially for me. I don't even want to open my Facebook anymore because there's so many deaths here and in the Philippines. So, I'd like to do this song. I discovered this from work. I work in a nursing home as a recreational therapist, and I'd like to do this song. A very lonely day, a lonely day, a lonely day, a lonely day. A lonely day, a lonely day, a lonely day, a lonely day, a lonely day. Even though it's raining outside, it's lovely. It's a very lovely day.
I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thank you for having us today. Such good food. I love it. Thank you. Sing them to say that I wish you a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year too. I just want to wish you all this Christmas Eve. I wish I were with you. I wish I were with you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you so much.
Get down, 1, 2, 1, 2, and up, 2, 1. Okay, here we go.
Yay!
You're ready?
Go!
Please, I'm presenting the Philippine Chinese Association of America Dancers. Who is your representative? Oh.
We've got the feeling. It's electric.
1, 2, 1.
We're shocking. It's electric. You've got to know it. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie, and you got.
Are they good? How about it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you're on video. We're gonna be on YouTube. We're gonna be famous. Yeah.
It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie, but you know it's there.
Okay.
There and everywhere.
Do the back.
I know it's a party
Okay, keep smiling. You know what you guys are just saying there? We're gonna lose weight. We're gonna lose some food here.
It's time to teach you, teach you, teach you. I'll teach you. Boogie, boogie, boogie. Jiggle with the guns, the puppet, the gun, the move it, the gun, like a shoot. You got to know it. It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. Now you can hold it. It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. You know it's there. Yeah, there and everywhere. Alright, I got to move.
Beautiful dancer and our queen. Who else? Keep going. You guys are Filipinos? Come on, let's sing.
Where's Alfonso? Alfonso, come on.
Come on, a little bit. Okay. Oh, Jenny, you said you're gonna hire us, or you're gonna hire them now. It's up to you out there.
You really regret.
Touch your skin. How can you do this?
Drama is never ending. Don't let it get the best of you. And all the fake friends just keep pretending. That's how the little things get cute. Paralyzing every pore. Oh, you feel it taking over you. To the center of your core. The lies are getting overused. When you are under the weather, getting caught in the storm. Do you remember? I told you if we dance in the blizzard, we are not getting cold. So keep on dancing.
So sweet alive. I miss the conversation. I'm searching for a song tonight. I'm changing all the stations.
I like to think that we had it all. We drew a map to a temptation.